Primetime, this movie coming out from A24. Robert Pattinson, his accent is overhyped in a lot of these comments. A lot of people are saying, he sounds just like him. He's in a flow state. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. When he says, you see how this looks, right? It sounds just like him. They're over exaggerating, and to prove it, I'm gonna play clips from this this trailer that dropped. I'll put it in the description if you want to watch it yourself, because from the look of this film, it's going to have this sort of like, we're gonna take a complex look at To Catch a Predator. Not only are we gonna take a look at the story of how it, like, maybe, like, we're gonna be a little loose on the details, but we'll be as accurate as is to be expected of like a biopic. You know what I mean? Where it's gonna play with the details a teensy bit, and we're gonna make it seem as though Chris Hansen was this type of guy sitting in his dressing room shirtless, all sweaty, kind of looking like the Joker in 2019 when he was putting on his face makeup. He was looking. He was plotting to make the best television possible, and a lot of this is not out of his want for justice. It's out of his want for celebridom, and it takes a very critical lens at him. Not that there's anything. I'm not one to say that Chris Hansen is immune from criticism. There's definitely a lot to say about how he screwed up. Let's put it that way. The Onision situation, where he could have apparently went to federal prison, but according to the little fumbles that the Chris Hansen situation threw into it, that was not able to happen. And now, Chris Hansen, he's up to his usual things. He's, on his True Blue network, which is legit. He, it's fun. Honestly, I love the one where the guy starts slapping himself and slams his head into the counter. All of those are really fun and good. But Chris Hansen, there's definitely things to criticize him over. In the first few investigations, they had no ties to law enforcement, so these men got away having known how to avoid what happened at this occasion next time. Maybe they're not going to meet the girl at the house. They're going to meet her at a McDonald's or something. That's they've learned, unfortunately, from his show. It's acted as prevention for a degree of men, I'm assuming, but largely there are things to criticize the platform for. I believe it to be, while sensationalized and while, exaggerated for television, I believe it to be an inherent good. I'm one to believe that shame is a great teacher, especially it's one that's not unfamiliar to our society. We are a species that loves to throw stones, especially at those who have sinned. In all honesty, where does that come from other than like a deeply human nature, where it's like, that person has so deeply sickened me, throw a stone at their head. And that, To Catch a Predator, we had that in modern form, where these people, their lives were ruined. We saw them at their darkest moments. We had a television camera smashed into their face, sometimes when they were nude sitting on a chair. And it was just like these dark moments for a lot of these men, and deservedly so. It was cathartic. I would say that To Catch a Predator is the closest thing. I understand that the Roman Colosseum, it wasn't nearly as brutal as many people would love to paint it as, but definitely it was a degree of like relief for the citizens of Rome. They enjoyed the power of it. They enjoyed the grandeur, the performance. And we had our bloodlust satiated when we saw these men have their lives taken down. Some of these men were religious leaders. They were army. They were, servants to their community, police officers, teachers, everybody of any color, any skin, any creed, whatever. Not a woman, though. Let's be clear. Women don't tend to be the types that are meeting people over the internet. They're the ones that are going to be your teacher and sexually assaulting you. Let's be clear. They're going to be the Haley Becks of the world. And let's just be, allegedly. She hasn't been to court for it, but let's be honest. We've all seen the text messages. We can make our minds up for ourselves. Folks, I want to play this trailer because I understand the image that they're going to take with this movie. I understand it because I've already seen the trailer and I already know exactly what they're going to try to paint it as. They're going to try to go that Chris Hansen's mind was definitely not in the right angle for this. He was trying to glorify it. He was trying to make it as visionary and as much of a spectacle as he could for the sake of television. And I agree with that. I agree that some of this definitely could have been for his ego. Some of this definitely could have been for him to get famous. When people think of catching predators, they think of my name first, and that's awesome. And I think that that's exactly what might go through his head. I don't know him personally. I'm not well informed about him enough to where I could make that decision. And I've never had a conversation with him. I've never been able to make my own in-person interpretations of him. That being said, I am fine with the idea that some of these people that are more, they're aligned with their self-interests. He wanted to build a brand off of this. He wanted to build a platform where he could charge people $4.99, I think it's $49.99 for a year subscription to TrueBlue. But he wants these people. It's TrueBlue. It sounds like a boner pill, but it's in reality it's his platform where he catches these guys who take boner pills before they go to meet 14-year-olds. And what he does on this is inherently what I believe to be a good thing for society. I believe it to be servicing the public. I believe it to be servicing our bloodlust. I love so much when they have the decoy walk out of the room or go like, I'll be right back, and then they watch Chris Hansen with a bit of, let's be honest, he's got to work out a little bit. He always walks in and he's got like his gut walking in first, and he's got like the papers on his chest, and he's sitting there and he's going like, why don't you just sit over there? Why don't you just sit over there and whatnot? But wear the suits again, because the suits hide a lot of that old man, body that you start to develop. Not to say that Chris Hansen's like, not a silver fox. He still looks good, but he needs to like work on the weight a little bit. Unfortunately, he's been having too much of Sokol's pizza. Not to say that like, what I mean, anything about his weight. He just needs to taper. He was slim back in the days. You guys remember the first few editions of To Catch a Predator? He was like tight. He looked good. But anyways, Robert Pattinson is a good physical matchup for him, but the face is just not right, unfortunately, and the accent is even worse. You need to have his very Chicago kind of style, his accent that he has, even though he grew up in Lansing, Michigan, you know what I mean? But he has that very nasal quality. He always has a bit of a presenter dialect. I understand that he might put it on a bit for the camera, but, this accent work that he's doing, even when he's playing in front of the camera, when he's catching the pedophile in the beginning of the trailer, it just doesn't sound like Chris Hansen to me. A24, shots of the house. Then like this Mexican guy walks in.
Are you sure your parents aren't home?
I'm sure.
Big night planned. Who are you? You should have a seat right there. I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on adults who try to meet teens online. You see how this looks, right?
It's decent. It's decent. It's not top 10.
I don't really like your show, but America loves it. So I need to move you to Catch a Predator, 9 p.m. Primetime. Gonna be bigger than Lost.
Primetime. Gonna be bigger than Lost.
My name is Dan Plum. Do you know what you're auditioning for?
So you were playing a 13-year-old?
So they got this guy playing a 19-year-old playing a 13-year-old.
They're gonna love this.
That's the guy from Santa Clarita Diet.
The recognition it deserves. I want something that matters. No more bottom feeders. I want to weigh up. Don't you ever just want to bleed them? Maybe what I do is a little worse.
It's better.
This could be our greatest segment yet. We're going to him. He'll do that. They come to us.
I don't understand what I'm doing here. What you're doing is more than acting. You're cleansing the world of an ancient evil.
Let's catch us a predator.
Who gave you permission to do this?
You have no plan.
I had to put him on television.
You're gonna be so proud of me.
I don't want to be a bad person. Your definition of bad and my definition of bad are vastly different.
It seems like
What
overacting.
would have happened if I wasn't here?
It seems like overacting, but it seems fine. September 25th. I might not see it in theaters, I'm going to be honest with you, but I'll see it on streaming services, because I'm half sold on it. I'm half sold on a critical lens on Chris Hansen. I believe that, it's an important vision to take. I think that it's a cool vision to take. I appreciate the idea that they're not just making a basic, ego-stroking biopic, much like Rocket Man was or anything like that, which is, let's be honest. Freddie Mercury wasn't alive to consult on Bohemian Rhapsody, but if he was, it might have been an ego-stroking project. Much like Rocket Man was for Elton John. It was like this thing where, yeah, we're going to show a bit of my bad sides, a bit of my selfishness, but we're also going to show overwhelming amounts of how it's like my dad that was the cause of my problems, and I did a lot of drugs, and I had sex with a lot of men, and that was the majority of what I did throughout my life. Like, that was all of Rocket Man. And then it was like, oh yeah, but actually he's happy now, and he like stands like next to a bunch of Gucci boxes, and it's like, oh yeah, broke bitches, now you just spent $20 on my movie, and it's 2019, so you're actually spending like $18 per ticket or whatever. You got the magic seat prices, bitch. Me, I'm sitting here with all my Gucci, and I got my new sunglasses in every picture. I got my gay husband and our kids that are gonna be like 10 when I'm 70 something. You know what I mean? I'm living a true Mick Jagger style, like rock star lifestyle, and good for Rocket Man. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. I love that song. It's really great. It's not even his best one, but it's like, you know what I mean? There's like, I'm not gonna go through an Elton John list right now. We can talk about it later, but